There sure seems to be a lot of optimism for price growth, especially for some of the premium cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Buckle up, because some of these predictions are wild. Hey everybody, it's Grandpa Dypto here, the grandpa who loves to talk about crypto. So the new year is here, and as always, the new year would not be the new year that we know unless it was replete with analysts and pundits and prognosticators trotting out their predictions, their price predictions for the new year. And this year, of course, is no exception. It's sort of like a big crystal ball festival, and I'm going to share some of their predictions with you. But before we get started, I need to share a few things with you about price predictions. First, no matter how many charts, how many data points, how many past predictions that someone got right, no one, and I mean absolutely no one, can predict the future with certainty. Secondly, predictions are always subject to lots of things that nobody expected, what the fancy boys call intervening variables. I mean, if a price prediction is longer than even a few hours, so many things can happen that could impact the price on a positive side or on the negative side. You can't predict everything with certainty. I mean, just think of all the things that could happen. An unexpected war could break out, or even an expected war or a current war could change in some significant way and spook or encourage the markets. There could be changes in government regulations. They can occur sometimes without a lot of notice. And then there's always the potential influence of some big-time mucky-muck, that name sound familiar? Who can say something that can move the markets, again, one way or the other. And there are the whales. Those are the people who have hundreds and sometimes thousands or even millions of a particular cryptocurrency, and what they do can encourage the market to do what they're doing, and that could have an impact on the price. And thirdly, if you're trying to make any decisions based on these or any price predictions, don't do it. Not a good idea. If anything, maybe use them as one small bit of information that you could consider, or look at an overall trend with these predictions, but that's not what you should base your decisions on. Okay? Please? I mean, the things you really should consider are, what are your personal goals? And what is your level of risk tolerance? That's really important. And most important of all is, how much do you really understand about cryptocurrency in general, or a particular coin that you're interested in, or even how to read the charts or look at historical data, or even where to find that data. And most importantly, there's your level of knowledge, your level of understanding. Boy, is that important. Trying to make decisions on what other people say when you don't really understand it, that's a recipe for, well, potential disaster. So making sure you know what you're doing is a key consideration. Because think about it this way. If you don't really know what you're doing, it's like gambling. You're just hoping you'll get lucky. That's not the good way to control your finances, or be in control of your life for that matter. With that in mind, let's have some fun and see what some of the big names in the crypto world are predicting for prices, or at least of two of the most popular cryptocurrencies for 2025. And buckle up, because some of these predictions are wild. Okay, so we talked about trends, and I could tell you, after reviewing a number of price predictions, I could say with some confidence that there sure seems to be a lot of optimism for 2025. And so, having done a review of a number of price predictions, there sure seems to be a lot of optimism for price growth in 2025, especially for some of the premium cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum are considered premium cryptocurrencies because they have consistently grown in price and in ownership over time. Of course, there have been many ups and downs, but if you look at a logarithmic chart, you'll see that the growth has been going up over all the time since its inception, and that's why it's called a premium cryptocurrency. So let's start with some of the rather more interesting price predictions for Bitcoin in 2025. And we'll start with this popular cryptocurrency market analyst who goes by the moniker Plan B. Now, Plan B is known for his stock-to-flow model. And Plan B uses this stock-to-flow model to analyze Bitcoin's scarcity in relation to its supply and demand. Along with, of course, he considers historical price movements and other data. And Plan B predicts that Bitcoin could reach between 100,000, which it already did, and $1 million, with a potential peak above $1 million between July and December 2025. Now, Plan B bases this prediction on Bitcoin's increasing scarcity and its potential adoption as a national reserve asset, which means governments may be buying Bitcoin as a way to enjoy the growth of price and help pay down the government's debt. Then there's a very popular writer and analyst named Anthony Pompliano, who's affectionately called the Pomp. Now, the Pomp, as I said, is a very respected writer and advisor, and he's based his predictions in part on the interest of institutional investors in the crypto space, and also that more and more retail investors, that's you and me, the everyday kind of people, are beginning to see Bitcoin, especially, as a store of value, that as it increases in value, it is completely opposed to the way our dollar is dropping in value, and that helps us to maintain our purchasing power. Now, the Pomp is projecting that on this basis, Bitcoin could reach between $100,000 and $200,000 within 2025. And next, there's a well-known banking and financial services company called Standard Chartered. Their analysts look at many factors, including what the big institutional investors are doing and how they are investing their money. Now, they're forecasting that Bitcoin could reach about $200,000 in 2025 on the basis of demand from these big investors. And the last of our list of Bitcoin prognosticators is a very popular analyst called Rekt Capital. Rekt Capital considers chart patterns and market cycles, but they don't make specific price predictions very often. But they suggest that Bitcoin could peak in price in the current bull cycle, which means, and this is important because they kind of look at what happens after the halving, which is when the number of Bitcoin that can be mined drops by half, happens every 4 years. And they're saying on the basis of the time from the halving, it means that Bitcoin could peak maybe between September and October of 2025, potentially reaching new all-time highs. And now, let's look at what analysts and prognosticators are suggesting the price of Ethereum could be in 2025. As with Bitcoin, there's a lot of optimism for Ethereum's price increasing during 2025. But all analysts understand that there's likely to be a lot of volatility along the way. Generally, the reasons for this optimism include a lot more interest from big institutional investors, declining supply of Ethereum on exchanges, which means that there's less available for sale. And that will become important when we talk about market cap in a little while. And also greater interest by institutions and retail investors like you and me in the new Ethereum exchange-traded funds. Now, near the end of December 2024, it was reported that $2.5 billion was invested in the Ethereum exchange-traded funds, which kind of suggests a lot of optimism, right? Let's start with one price-predicting analyst named Michael Van de Papa. He sees a price target for Ethereum of between $15,000 to $25,000 in 2025. And that's quite a growth because its all-time high was around $4,700. That was back a few years ago. So he's seeing a lot of potential. Then there's a big asset management company called Bitwise. They predict that with such strong market interest, Ethereum will reach at least its all-time highs in 2025. That's kind of a moderate prediction, but nevertheless, all-time highs. Then there's another crypto analytics firm called CryptoQuant. They say that with Ethereum's increased network activity, meaning all the transactions that are taking place on the Ethereum blockchain within the big network of people and computers who trade with Ethereum, that there's a lot of optimism for price increase because, among other things, there's been a big increase in the number of daily transactions on the network, which is somewhere around 7.5 million transactions a day, and that's up from about 5 million a year ago. Now, all of this is potentially making Ethereum more scarce, and of course, if there's great demand and less supply, the price will increase. They also point out that the Ethereum network continues to make big advances, such as major upgrades in its scalability and energy efficiency, among other things. And it's also a dominant player in decentralized finance, which is growing as an activity in the cryptocurrency market. More about that later. Then there's a fella named Alex Mascoli, who is the founder of Trade the Chain, and he bases his prediction in part on market sentiment and the impact of regulation, as well as lots of other data that he looks at. Now, he's predicting, based on what he sees, is that Ethereum could reach up to $10,000 perhaps in 2025, given all the things that would likely spur the price up. And then there's another investment platform called Venture Founders. They predict that Ethereum could reach over $15,000 by May 2025, which could push a market cap above $1 trillion for the first time ever. Now, this is important, so let's take a few minutes to talk about market capitalization, or market cap, because it's a big indicator of the potential for prices up or down in the cryptocurrency market. It means the total circulating supply of, we're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, but any cryptocurrency coin at any one time. Circulating supply means the total number of coins in circulation. And that means, for example, the total amount of ETH or Bitcoin that is currently available and accessible to buy, sell, or trade. In circulation means that these coins, Bitcoin coins, have been mined, or Ethereum coins have been created, and they're not held in reserve or locked up in smart contracts. In other words, they're available for transactions to buy, sell, or trade in the open market. And it is this circulating supply at any one time that is used to calculate the market capitalization of a cryptocurrency coin. And is basically based on multiplying the current price of Bitcoin or the current price of Ethereum by the number of coins in circulation. So at the end of 2024, Bitcoin's market cap was around $2 trillion. Now that's a big increase from the year before. Now Ethereum's market cap was approximately $408 billion, but it still was the second largest cryptocurrency in terms of market cap. So now you might be wondering, how can you determine the number of Bitcoin or Ethereum in circulation at any given time? Because it's a big number to look at. Well, you can check a number of reliable websites like CoinMarketCap, YCharts, or Forbes Digital Assets. All of these are reliable sites that give you real-time data about the circulating supply of many cryptocurrency coins. So when we checked near the end of 2024, we saw that there were approximately 19 million Bitcoin in circulation and around 120 million Ethereum in circulation. Now, the way you can determine the trends is you can go to the sites I mentioned and you can monitor daily changes, see if there's a big change in circulating supply, if it goes up or down. Now, you can determine trends or at least get a sense of them in terms of circulating supply by going to the websites that I mentioned and seeing what's happening, whether circulating supply is increasing or decreasing. And you can do that on a daily basis. And you can do what a lot of analysts do, which is look at historical trends and see what that might imply for the future price of any particular cryptocurrency coin. So let's get back to some of the predictions for Ethereum in 2025. And let's start with Standard Chartered Bank and see what they have to say. Now, this is really interesting. So they say there's the potential for ETH to reach 1/5 of Bitcoin's market capitalization. And that implies a price of maybe $40,000 for Ethereum if Bitcoin were to reach 200,000. And if you remember Plan B's prediction that Ethereum could potentially reach between $500,000 and $1 million in 2025, well, just imagine what that could mean for the price of Ethereum. It's quite significant. Sure, these are eye-popping predictions, and it's a lot of fun to fantasize about what you might do if you enjoy these price increases. But let's remember that all predictions are subject to lots of variables, such as changes in regulations, certainly market volatility. Something comes up and people sell quickly, as they did when the Fed said they were going to be more hawkish, they said, with the interest rate dropping. So the market got spooked and prices fell for a while. And of course, there are always changes in technology. The impact of artificial intelligence, AI, could make a big difference. There's lots of things. But because we're having fun, let's finish with 2 top 10 predictions that I hope you'll enjoy. The first of our top 10 predictions is by a fellow named Alex Savanovic. And he is the CEO on-chain analytics firm that is called Nansen. I don't know why he calls it Nansen, but that's what it's called. Alex forecasts that the upcoming year could be, and I quote, the mother of all bull markets. Whew. And his top 10 predictions begin with the first one, which is that meme coins could go wild, go crazy. Now, you remember those meme coins are the funny internet money thingies. Some of them turned out okay, but a lot of them, they kind of like flash in the pans. And if you're on the downside of them, they can disappear as quickly as water on a hot sidewalk. But anyways, Svanovic thinks that some of the meme coins could break big records in 2025, and he's certainly going to keep an eye on that. So his second prediction is that DeFi, or decentralized finance, is going to make a big comeback. If you're not familiar with decentralized finance, it might be a good idea to get up to speed, because there are so many ways that you can benefit with decentralized finance strategies, and including becoming your own bank, believe it or not, staking your crypto to earn extra interest, and lots of different ways. But anyway, he thinks it's going to get big. He also thinks that Solana is going to join the ETF party. So right now you can get exchange traded funds based on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and he thinks Solana is going to be the third. He's also predicting the return of VIP blockchains. What the heck are those? Well, they're like exclusive clubs that you need to get an invitation to join. Think of it as the crypto world creating its own members-only club with limits on how many can join. It's usually based on how much money you can invest, and when you do, you get premium services. Anyway, he sees that as becoming big. He's very bullish on Bitcoin because he sees more uses for Bitcoin than just acting as a means of purchasing or as a store of value. So there's going to be some technological increases, he thinks, that'll make Bitcoin even more flexible for its usage. He also sees cryptocurrency and getting into the science world as helping to fund cool science stuff. That'll be an interesting thing. I'm not quite sure what he means by that, but who knows? Now, he's not the only one to suggest this, but there's a lot of chatter, and I'm going to be doing some videos on it at some stage, about the nexus, if you'd like, of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and AI. He sees this becoming a much bigger part of the crypto world in the year and years to come. And he's also rather optimistic about new laws, particularly in the United States, that will be more crypto-friendly and allow more people to get involved in the crypto world than might have in the past. And he sees the growth of investment in real-world assets. That's where you can take very valuable things like art or government bonds or fancy cars even, anything that has the potential for growth, and tokenize it, meaning break it into small tokens that you and I can buy, just like the wealthy who could afford to buy the whole thing. Now we can have a slice of the action, and he sees that getting bigger too. And finally, let's take a gander at predictions by a prognosticator called Van Eck. Have you ever heard of Van Eck? Well, they're a big investment firm, and they manage exchange-traded funds, including cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they're highly respected as well. And so let's have fun and see what their top 10 predictions are. Prediction number 1, they see Bitcoin reaching about $180,000 in 2025. They see Ethereum reaching around $6,000 and Solana maybe above 500, and a cryptocurrency called SUI crossing the $10 mark. They think that the markets, the cryptocurrency markets, are going to peak early in the year and then set new records by the end of the year. They also predict that the government in the United States will become more crypto friendly, and that's going to open the door for more investment products in the crypto world, and of course more people potentially getting involved. They also see traditional assets becoming crypto friendly. That's real world assets we talked about earlier, in which valuable products can be tokenized and people can have a share of them, own a share of them. I mean, imagine owning a piece of the Mona Lisa, for example. They also see stable coins being a big part of the way we spend money. they see stablecoins handling about $300 billion in transactions by the end of the year. And that's a big ways from where we are now. Another thing to keep an eye on is stablecoins. And they also see AI as playing a big role in managing and hopefully improving our investments in cryptocurrency. Now, how that's going to play out, we really need to keep an eye on it, because if you've been following anything in the AI field, you'll know that it's still in its infancy, and there's a lot that we don't understand about the potential for it becoming something we may not be able to control. So, although it may become a big part of the crypto world, doesn't mean it's a slam dunk in terms of all of us benefiting. They see the price of Bitcoin, as we mentioned, increasing, but mostly having faster networks so that it'll be easier for people to trade. They see Ethereum, a network, getting so good it could generate $1 billion in fees in 2025. It's a lot. And they see DeFi taking off with the potential for $4 trillion in trading in the DeFi market. Now, that's big. They see NFTs, non-fungible tokens, making a big comeback, and they see apps that are being built on blockchains as catching up with the performance of the major cryptocurrencies, which means we're going to see some big technological advances. So, a lot of optimism, a lot of growth in these predictions. We'll see. But as I said, it's so important to know that all predictions are speculative. And as I said at the start, nobody can predict the future with absolute certainty. Lots of things can get in the way. That you must take these predictions as one little teeny bit of data when you're making decisions about your financial situation and your financial future. Because above all, if you're going to invest your hard-earned money, you must do it with knowledge and understanding, which is why we say all the time at Dypto-Crypto.com, learn before you leap. And that's what we're here for. So come on over. You can subscribe for free, or you can join our membership program if you want to get strategies that will help you to take advantage of the opportunities in the cryptocurrency world. Either way, come on over and learn, because I'm going to say it once again, and I'm sorry if you're still here. Learn before you leap.